about to begin what should be a very compelling night here in the world of bodybuilding, fitness, and physique and bikini competition. It is Olympia night, a weekend we have waited a while for. And Sean, I'm going to let you give us a sense for what's in store tonight as the 2018 Olympia Finals, the Saturday night event, is set to begin.
Well, Dan, it started back in 1965 when a crown and $1,000 prize money presented by Joe Weider went to Larry Scott, who would go on to win the 1966 Olympia as well. The Cuban, Sergio Oliva, would come in to win 3 from 67, 68, and 69. Then we saw the Austrian Oak, Arnold Schwarzenegger, come all the way from Austria to win his first of what would be a 6-straight-year run to 1975, where his training partner in 76, Franco Columbu, would win his first of 2 Mr. Olympia titles. And then we saw the symmetry in Frank Zane. He would win 77, 78, and 79. Arnold would come out of retirement and win his 7th and final Olympia in 1980. And then in 1981, his training partner, Franco Columbu, would win his 2nd Sandow Trophy. And then in 1982, we saw the oldest Mr. Olympia, Chris Dickerson, at 43 years old, win his one and only title. And of course, the Lion from Lebanon in 1983 would be Samir Banu. Lee Haney would win his first Olympia in 1984 and rattle off 8 in a row, retiring in 1991. And in 92, Dorian Yates from England would win 6 in a row, retiring in 97. Then came Ronnie Coleman and rattled off 8 consecutive titles before he lost to Jay Cutler, who would win 4. And Dexter Jackson would squeeze off 1 victory. And then we came to the gift. He would win his first Olympia in 2010 and win the next 7 consecutive years, which brings us to tonight.
And you're looking at the scene backstage in the pump-up room as the guys get ready to take the stage and do their final tune-ups before they perform their routines. Our MC tonight, of course, will be Bob Ciccarello. He'll make his way to the podium momentarily, but they are filing in here in Las Vegas. This is the biggest night of the year in professional bodybuilding. History will be made one way or another. We will either crown a new Olympia, only the 14th in the contest history, or Phil Heath will retain the title and establish won't establish a new record, will equal the long-standing record of Ronnie Coleman and Lee Haney. So a lot to talk about tonight. Of course, James Flex Lewis is here. He's trying to win the 212 title for the 7th time. Angelica Teixeira in the Bikini Olympia division is trying to repeat and defend her title. You're looking at Dexter Jackson. We call him the 8th wonder of the world, almost 49 years old, still in tremendous shape. He's here trying to secure another spot in the top 5 as he walks past Wooly Winkler, a guy who had a very impressive showing last night in the preliminary judging. And the great thing about Dexter Jackson, Sean, is he's always having a good time.
Listen, he knows he's in the twilight of his career, so he's soaking it all in. But with a body like that, he's still in the hunt. He's in the fight. He's one of the top bodybuilders in the world, still striving and surviving. These guys have come from all over, from the Czech Republic, Puerto Rico, United Kingdom, Canada, the Netherlands, as far away as Egypt, and of course with Wooly Winkler, Curacao. We've got plenty of guys representing the USA. This is an international competition, to be sure. There's Nathan Diash, who came all the way from England. He's starting to pick up steam, and we see the return of the King Snake. From Texas, Steve Kuklo is in the house.
Well, you know, it's really an epic night, and we're going to watch this thing play out as we set to begin the show. We're going to hear from, I'm told, American Media Chief Executive Officer David Pecker. He will step to the podium. I'm told there are some celebrities in the house tonight, so we'll try to point those out as we identify them. But we're going to go ahead and send it off to the stage as we begin the 2018 Mr. Olympia. Some things in bodybuilding, Sean Ray, never change, including the Olympia theme song, which of course echoes throughout the Orleans Arena each and every year at this time, and you can kind of feel the anticipation beginning to build.
Absolutely. In the absence of the late Joe Weider, along with his brother Ben, and in the presence of the new feature film, Bigger, Dan, watching their love story, the passion they had for bodybuilding, the origins of where it came from two poor guys growing up in Canada, $8, creating the Weider publishing machine, and then giving birth to the equipment and the supplement and the Olympia competition through the Mr. Universe champions and the American national champions. Here we are, some 54 years later, still doing the business in their absence. They have laid the groundwork for what we're about to share in this weekend.
Can't say enough about the stage set, the production value that Robin Chang and his team at American Media and the Olympia team have done to kind of continue to raise the bar. And we're going to let the show begin.
Weider's Olympia Fitness and Performance Weekend, presented by Midway Labs, webcast by iherb and MusclePharm. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the national anthem.
All right, they're going to bring out the MC momentarily, and right now backstage we're seeing some of these guys kind of put the final tune-ups on. They know what to expect. There's a different anticipation this year. There's a different energy. There's a different intensity. But first, we're going to hear from AMI CEO
Good
David Pecker.
evening, and welcome to the 54th Mr. Olympia. While I have many exciting things to tell you about tonight, unfortunately, we need to begin on a very sad note. Last November, Sean Perrine, the editorial director of Muscle and Fitness, Flex, and Muscle and Fitness Horrors, passed away at 51 years old. Sean was, without a doubt, the finest fitness journalist I have ever worked with and the voice of our sport. He was recognized by all as a leading authority on health, training, nutrition, and bodybuilding. His close friend, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, called him, and I quote, a fantastic ambassador for the fitness crusade, and went on to say, the world has lost an amazing force. I couldn't agree more. Sean was my colleague, my friend, and an inspiration to everyone who knew him. The industry will miss him. I will miss him. This is now my 16th year hosting Mr. Olympia. And I'm extremely proud of the growth we have achieved during this time. This year, we are introducing a major change to the Olympia judging, one I know you have been waiting for. Tonight, you will finally have a voice in choosing the next Mr. Olympia. Yes, yes, and for the first time ever, you will choose the People's Champion. I want to personally thank my friend Jim Mannion, president of the Pro League, for helping me make this People's Champion a reality. This year's Olympia is also truly special because for the first time, we hosted the IFBB Pro League Wheelchair Bodybuilding Championships. These inspirational athletes are true warriors who show the world what the power of a determined mind and the human spirit can accomplish. Let's give a great round of applause for this year's winner, Harold Kelly. Tonight, Phil Heath will attempt to win his 8th Sandow Trophy. Yes. Tying him with living legends Lee Haney and Ronnie Coleman for the most Mr. Olympia titles won. Flex Lewis will be competing one last time for the 212-pound Mr. Olympia trophy. Yes, let's give it Flex. Flex has won this title every year since we introduced this event in 2012, and I know he wants to retire as a champion. This year's prize money will be the biggest in our sports history, with $1.4 million being awarded and distributed tonight. Thank you. This is a 250% increase since we acquired the Mr. Olympia competition 16 years ago. We are also hosting our second amateur competition at Olympia, giving 18 men and women the opportunity to earn IFBB Pro status. Now, I'd like to congratulate Friday night's winners. The new champion of fitness, Whitney Jones. Figure, second-year champion, Sydney Gillon. Classic physique, second-year champion, Brie Anzali. Let's give them all a great big round of applause. As you all know, Dwayne Johnson, Danny Garcia, and their company, 7 Bucks, have been a presence at our event for the past 2 years. Unfortunately, DJ has a conflict and cannot join us tonight as he is filming his new movie. I know, I feel the same way. However, my friends, he sent all of you this very special video message.
Hey everybody, DJ here. First of all, I'm so sorry that I can't be with you there at the Olympia this year. I wanted to come. I'm here on set shooting Disney's Jungle Cruise, but I am there in spirit. So my spirit is in the room. My spirit is in the DNA of all the amazing athletes and competitors who are going to hit that stage. My spirit is inside of you. That sounds weirdly inappropriate, but you guys know what I'm saying. I want to wish the very best of luck to all the competitors. I know the time, the sacrifice, the discipline, the dedication that you guys have put in over the months and months preparing for this one night. I wish you all the very, very best of luck. I want to congratulate all of you who hear those very special words, and new. I also want to congratulate the ones who hear the very, very special words, and still. Again, I am there in spirit, and you know, one of the greatest things about our world and our sport of bodybuilding is it never ends. You can always, always continue to get better and better and better and continue to push yourself to new heights. So, congratulations to all the Olympia competitors, and congratulations to the champions. And above all else, most importantly, tonight, have fun.
Come on, let's give a great round of applause to DJ. I would like to thank Midway for being our main sponsors this year, especially the owners and the founder, Wilton and Catherine, as well as iHerb and MusclePharm for helping us live stream tonight's event. Thank you, guys. I also want everyone to join me in a special thank you to the 800 plus men and women here tonight who wear the uniform of our country and protect us all. God bless you all. Bob, let's get the show started.
Dan, we're about to get this thing rocking and rolling. This is what everyone decided to come to Vegas to see.
It might have been as you've been working toward that dream. That dream that you're holding in your mind, that it's possible.
It reminds me why I sacrifice. It reminds me what this title really means. It means that you're the king.
Always be the hardest workers in the room.
But people who are running toward their dreams, life has a special kind of meaning.
When you become the right person, what you do is you start separating yourself from other people. You begin to have a certain uniqueness. As long as you're following other people, as long as you're being a copycat, you will never ever be the best copycat in the world. But you will be the best you could be. I'm telling you to define your value.
That everybody won't see it, that everybody won't join you, that everybody won't have the vision. It's necessary to know that you are an uncommon breed. It's necessary that you align yourself with people and attract people into your business who are hungry, people who are unstoppable and unreasonable, people who are refusing to leave life just as it is and who want more. The people that are living their dream of finding winners to attach themselves to. The people that are living their dreams are the people that know that if it's going to happen, it's up to them.
If you want to be more successful, if you want to have and do stuff you ain't never done before, number two, I'm asking you to invest in you. To invest in you.
Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. That you don't have to go through life being a victim. And even though you face disappointments, you have to know within yourself that I can do this. Even if no one else sees it for me, I must see it for myself.
They say that life is always easier after you let yourself come undone. They say they'll give you whatever you want, and I'll be waiting in the shadow of the sun. Seasons down where no one's been before. Close the curtains, what you're waiting for, and I'll be keeping secrets till I'm in the ground.
Please welcome your host for the evening, the voice of bodybuilding, Mr. Bob Cigarillo.
All right, how we doing, Vegas? Man, it is great to be back. Welcome to the 2018 Olympia, the house that Joe built. The Fall Classic, the Super Bowl of bodybuilding. Let's just call it what it is, folks. The best of the best competing to see who truly is the best. And that's going to unfold right here on this stage tonight. I'd like to welcome, of course, our live audience here in Las Vegas and those joining us around the world, of course, via webcast on iherb, our tag team combination. Calling the action in the back, of course, Dan Solomon, Hall of Famer Sugar Sean Ray, and Amanda Latona. Sure, they're going to do a great job, and of course, we are very proud to bring this worldwide. Folks, Joe Weider started this competition in 1965 to see who would be the best built man in the world. Tonight, we're going to see that take place. History will be made right here on this stage. Before we get any further, folks, I'd like to thank our CEO of AMI, Mr. David Pecker. A big welcome to our IFBB Pro League president, Mr. Jim Mannion. And for the first time in history, I'm told, the entire Mannion family is actually here at the Olympia. So Debbie, Tyler, Cassie, JM, welcome to your first Olympia. You can applaud that, that's all right. This show is sanctioned by the IFBB Professional League under the direction of our Pro League president, Mr. Jim Mannion. Our head judges for the event, Ms. Sandy Williamson and Mr. Steve Weinberger. You can applaud the judges too, they got a tough job. And for those that seen the pre-judging yesterday, you've seen how tough it's gonna be. Very close competition tonight, folks. So without any further ado, I'm gonna dedicate tonight's competition to our good friend Sean Perrine, my buddy Shauno. He's looking from upstairs, of course, and we're gonna put on a great show. All right, folks, the athletes are lined up and ready. The judges seated and in place. Fans here at Olympia, are you ready? All right, this time, good warm up, good warm up. This time loud enough for Joe Weider to hear this up in that big gym in the sky. Fans here at the Olympia, are you ready? Then please welcome your first finalist from Curacao, the Beast, Ruli Winkler.
Here we go.
All right, we are underway. The finals of the 2018 Mr. Olympia. Our first competitor, Ruli Winkler, makes his way to the stage to mark the beginning of what we anticipate will be an epic night in bodybuilding history. Ruli Winkler used to compete more often. He only competed twice this year, and one of those a win at the Arnold, Australia. He landed in the top 6 here a year ago. Sean Ray, let's get a look at the 2018 version of Ruli Winkler.
Ruli has been on this slow incline with his career, winning over in Finland, winning over in Kuwait, winning over in Australia, and making a run for it here tonight. He's very cartoon character like Dan. You open the old magazines, you see the silhouette drawings. This is very caricaturing. It's like ridiculous in terms of the size of the arms and the width of the lats and the calves that even come up. Ruli, a steady work in progress. So much muscle here. Trademark twisting back shots, Dan. Does it a little bit differently than Arnold Schwarzenegger. He actually owns this type of pose. Others are copying that.
One of the most structurally unique bodybuilders this sport has ever seen. His shoulders wide, his arms massive, maybe the best arms this sport has potentially ever known. We'll leave that to you guys to debate, but he is remarkable. There was a time a couple years ago where he was just a bunch of different body parts. The physique really didn't flow. He went back to the drawing board, revisited his approach, has completely reinvented the way his physique flows, and now he finds himself here at the Olympia, very much in the running for the title.
Well, he discovered the oxygen gym. I mean, he didn't start making these changes until he started making the pilgrimage out to Kuwait. He's dried out nicely. In the past, I've criticized him for holding too much water, and you'd see that water starting to come out as he posed. It would just start dripping, and the color would start to smear and smudge. He looked like a mess by the time he was done posing. You can see, Dan, he's dry, and he looks very polished.
Well, based on the prejudging, it looked like they had him very much in that top 3 or 4 group. We know the fans at home love Rolly Winkler, and so too do the fans here in the arena.
That's the best Rolly Winkler's ever looked on this stage in his career.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from the USA, Flexitron Sean Roden.
When we arrived in Las Vegas, we did not know what we were going to get from Sean Roden. A year ago, he fell to 5th. He's been in the top 5 6 years in a row. He was a runner-up here in 2016. And based on the way the call-outs went in last night's prejudging, Sean Roden is very much a contender tonight. There are many bodybuilding fans who watch this show that feel that Sean Roden may have done enough to become the 14th winner of the Mr. Olympia.
Well, there's no question he improved vastly from a year ago. Sean Roden's first flush on the stage, Dan, we both called that he was off, a little bit of watery. We understood later on that he had a broken jaw. This is a vastly improved physique. The obliques are in, he's tight and he's dry. The delts are just offsetting that physique. You can see the traps are hanging from his skinny neck. His traps actually make his neck look non-existent by comparison. But Sean is the best that Sean has been. And remember, this is a guy, he's a former first-time runner-up in this contest. And I believe right now, he's better than he was when he got his first runner-up.
When prejudging ended last night, I asked you, Sean Ray, who you thought was in the lead coming out of prejudging. You told us you had Sean Roden ahead of Phil Heath. Of course, the night is still young. We still have protein routines. Half the contest will be scored tonight. It's still very much up in the air. But Sean Roden has made this contest far more interesting than a lot of people thought.
But Dan, it's a heavyweight fight, and a heavyweight fight goes 12 rounds. So if you fight the first 6 and win the first 6 rounds, and you're the champion, you may come back in those last 6 rounds, may even get a knockout. We cannot discount the fact that Phil Heath has also had time to dry out. But right now, there's nothing that Sean can do. Sean's about as dry as he's gonna get. You saw the intercostals. You see the peekaboo on the lower back. You see a little bit on the glutes, the hamstrings. He's dry in all the right places. The question will remain, did the champion rise to the occasion?
The knock on Sean Roden, especially on a night like tonight, is that he brings just about everything to the stage you can bring, except energy. And it looks like he's trying to bring some of that right now. And that's been a missing piece for Sean. He comes out, he usually poses very slowly, very cerebral. His transitions are very slow and almost accidental in a way. And here he goes, and he's trying to bring some energy, and I think that's a big way for him to establish himself here on this stage.
Absolutely. Personality and charisma in this performance arena will help him. What he hasn't brought to this stage again in the past also is the lower back, and that's where Phil could actually turn the tables on him. But you see the feathers in the quads when he flexes them. The one thing I don't like about Sean is when he relaxes his stomach in between, but look, he steps into the light and you can see the quads separate, the abs pop, the deltoids pop. Sean's ready.
There it is.
If there was going to be a threat, tonight's tonight.
Sean Roden has made his case.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from the United Kingdom, Nathan Diasha.
One of bodybuilding's rising stars from the UK, competing in his 3rd Olympia. You're looking at Nathan Diasha. He was 7th here a year ago. Of course, a former British champion, and very much climbing his way to the upper tier of this sport. Sean Ray, it looks like he has brought it once again.
Yeah, he's been a steady work in progress as well, and he's starting to peak at the right time. Again, Dan, this being a two-day show, yesterday being pre-judging, it really is about being critical, because at that stage we're breaking them down. This is the performance round where the athletes have an opportunity to display their charisma, their personality, but don't be fooled. The judges are also scoring the conditioning and the improvements from a day ago. But in this situation, we're analyzing the performance. And Nathan DeAshton is rising to the occasion. This stage, this atmosphere has been very big for him, and he has slowly started to ascend towards the top 6.
I will point out for those of you watching, there are 19 competitors in this Olympia lineup. They are only allowing the top 10 to perform their posing routines. So if you're looking for your favorite bodybuilder to pose, hopefully he landed in the top 10.
Yeah, and sometimes it's disappointing from the fans' point of view, but that's what the prejudging is about, Dan, which is why we're highly critical as they make their way through those rounds. We're picking them apart, looking for what they do not have, why they should not be there, and we get left with the best of what's left in the top 10. And then, of course, there could be only one champion. So these top 10 are the elite in the world. And right now, they're pulling out all the stops to validate their existence on this Olympia performance stage.
And also to validate their bank account, because there's a lot of money up for grabs. Of course, the $400,000 first place prize.
Absolutely. You get rewarded for the hard work. Nathan is rising to the occasion.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from the USA, Brandon Curry.
If I die and go to heaven, will I make it through the main gate?
5'8", 252 pounds by way of Tennessee. Former USA overall champion, Dan, trains out in Kuwait at the Oxygen gyms as well.
From the moment he arrived on the pro scene, we knew Brandon Curry was going to be special. He had all the tools to be one of the greats. We've talked about that every time he walks out. He had a big year last year. He won twice, and then he finished 8th here a year ago, and he's trying to prove on that. And then based on the call-outs from last night, he looks like he's right around that. He may have taken one more step forward.
Yeah, again, and if he does take a step forward, he may be battling out with the legend in Dexter Jackson. They had an opportunity to stand next to each other. And with Brandon being as young as he is and as big as he is, he's holding his own next to the former champion. He is a perennial top 10 finisher. He's won over in Brazil, the Arnold Classic Championships. And he's also won the Arnold Classics over in Australia.
Sean, there's no shortage of muscle on this frame. What's the thing that's holding Brandon back from getting him into the top 5 tonight?
You'll notice he's got a little bit thicker skin than some of the other bodybuilders. He's darker skin, but it's a little bit thicker. And at 5'8", carrying 252 pounds, he's right there with Kevin Levrone. Kevin Levrone got another 1.5 inches on this guy when you start to compare and contrast the physiques. But the skin is a little bit thick. The one thing about Brandon Curry is he is continually improving, and it pays off for him to go over to Kuwait and do the business of bodybuilding. But I don't think he can get any bigger at 5'8". He's right where he needs to be. He's just got to try to rip up the skin just a little bit more and thin it out. The hamstrings can use a little bit more meat on the bone. But his shoulder to waist differential and the width and the thickness on his back is nothing short of amazing for where he came from. All the while raising 4 children. Married an IFB Pro Bikini competitor in Miss Randy Curry by way of Hawaii. He's got a lot on his plate.
What we learned last night from watching prejudging is that this lineup is stacked. There are no soft spots. Even when we got down to those 3rd and 4th callouts, we saw the quality really at all phases of this competition. Brandon Curry does not appear right now to be projecting as a top 4 or 5 guy at this point.
I've got a top 8, and that's respect for Brandon.
Absolutely.
He belongs in that top 8 for sure.
A great bodybuilder.
This is where they warm up then before they hit the main stage.
Jensen.
They're watching backstage on the monitors as well.
Well, here he is, the world's most decorated bodybuilder. He turns 49 in November. 28 professional wins to his credit, Sean, more than anyone in the history of the sport. And of course, one of those victories came 10 years ago tonight when he was crowned the 12th man to win the Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, he's the new modern-day Albert Beckles of the sport. I remember when I guest posed there. Actually, I won in 1985 in Australia. Albert Beckles got second to the great Lee Haney in '85, and he was 46 years old at that time. And he went on to compete well into the 90s, Albert Beckles did. And of course, there's another guy by the name of Vince Taylor who walked off with 5 Masters Olympia titles. Dexter is not slowing down by any means. He also said he's got no plan for retirement. This is who he is. It's what he does. Win, lose, or draw.
And he's not slowing down. He was runner-up earlier this year at the Arnold Classic, and we've often described him as the 8th wonder of the world because it's remarkable what he's able to deliver year in and year out consistently. You competed against him, he's still doing it, and you haven't been competing for a long time. So
he competed against Ronnie Coleman and Kevin Levrone and Flex Wheeler and Chris Cormier and myself. We're all retired. It's amazing he's still there.
As things change, Dexter is the one constant. But now I'm going to ask you to put your critical hat on and tell us why this might be the first time in a long time that Dexter may not be in that top 5.
It's not for lack of trying. Dexter is battling Father Time, not necessarily the competitors. You see the thickening of the waist. He's got a little bit of water. The lower back doesn't show the blades trademark thin lower back. And that happens when you age. It's just something that you can't knock him for. He continually trains hard in the gym. His deltoids, world class. He's got a great structure. But when that structure starts to get diluted because of age, the skin doesn't thin out like it should. The waist has a tendency to thicken because you've got to eat all these calories. You're doing heavy lifting. It starts to change the dynamic of the look. The hamstrings start to fade and the legs start to fade a little bit. But he definitely still has a few more gas in his tank.
My heart is ready for love and to give up. And I choose
First Olympia, Dan, was 1999, right here in Las Vegas at Mandalay Bay.
Man, and they love him, and more than love him, they respect him. I've been covering this sport for a couple decades, and it has been such a rare privilege to watch the way he handles himself, his approach to his preparation, how he handles his family and his fans, and just watching his workmanlike approach to the sport. He has respect for himself, he has respect for others, and I will say this over and over again. Dexter, it has been our privilege to watch you compete, and we hope you stick around for a few more years because he is extraordinary.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The Blaze.
help me congratulate Dexter Jackson on his 19th Mr. Olympia.
Nothing to be ashamed of there, Dan.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the USA, Cedric McMillan.
You want to get excited about looking at a beautiful physique. Pay attention to this man right here, standing 6'1", 280 pounds, serving the United States military, Cedric Big Mac McMillan. He's an artist.
There's no one quite like Cedric McMillan, last year's Arnold Classic champion, competing out in his 4th Mr. Olympia. And he clearly has a very different approach, a very different mental approach. He has different expectations for himself and has a different perspective than others. And we don't have all the time to talk about that now, but we'll watch his routine. But Cedric, the one thing that he is missing is a great Olympia showing. He's been as high as 7th. He's gotten there. He's gotten close. But Cedric seems to save his best for some other events.
Absolutely, but Cedric's personality is what you fall in love with. The body opens the door, but his personality is electrifying and magnetic. I don't know where to begin to try to criticize Cedric, with the exception that I believe he should have a Sandow trophy. He may not get one, but he will not be forgotten when he's done and in retirement, because what he brings to the sport is a lot more than just beauty and class.
when he poses, he literally has a conversation with the audience. There's a connection. There's a way that he goes about his body movements that are just very different, very unique. So let's just sit back, Sean, and watch Cedric McMillan's 2018 Olympia routine.
Funny, Dan, some of the guys, when they pose, they forget the audience is there. But Cedric is very aware and very interactive with his audience, which makes him a very popular personality and guest poser around the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from the USA, Steve Kuklo.
All right, here's your 2011 NPC USA overall champ. He's won 4 times on the pro circuit. And Sean Ray, he's back here on the Olympia stage for the 5th time.
Look at those numbers, 5'11", 270 pounds. Kuklo, he's actually dieted down to that body weight. He's got the size of an NFL lineman, but he's got the structure and the body of an Olympian. It's amazing what he's done with his physique in the short amount of time that he's done it.
And once again, if you are posing now, that means you are in the top 10. So that's great news for Steve Kuklo and fans of Steve, because it's a good showing for Steve to show up here at the Olympia and secure a spot in the top 10.
Well, he's realistic too. He's like, I'm not gonna win this. I'm not gonna be top 6, but you know what? I can give them hell, I can give them a run, and you get into the top 6, you just eliminated half the lineup. So kudos to the King Snake by way of Texas. Kuklo, he's got a lot of irons in the fire. He's a very busy guy. He's very popular. And of course, he's got a pro wife, Amanda Latona, our co-host. I mean, that's a distraction in and of itself, but yet he's able to get in shape for these competitions.
So what you're saying is Steve wins either way.
He's a winner.
He gets to go home with Amanda Latona.
Winning.
No doubt.
He's a former overall USA champion, Dan. Earned his pro card right here in Las Vegas. Seems like a lifetime ago. Gone on to win over in California and in Texas, but the European Championships as well. He also, Dan, won out in Brazil. He's a former Arnold Classic champion winner out there. I forgot to mention that. And actually, he was called to duty the same night he won on our flight home from Brazil, trying to save a passenger's life. Fireman by trade. Professional bodybuilder by profession. He's one of the few guys out there, Dan, that has his entire family that cheers him on. He's got an army of followers out there in Texas. What he's missing here, Dan, is the back, a little bit of thickness, a little bit more thin skin. Again, we talked about the water retention, which doesn't make him as competitive in terms of being the top 6 threat. He dials it in a little bit more, maybe gets a little more detailed, he'll be more competitive. But he's got the structure, the nice V shape, big billowing quads, nice calves. Everything's there, just got to get the conditioning.
Steve Kuklo.
Guys are backstage. Of course, the 212 guys are also starting to warm up. We'll be looking at the bikini competitors a bit later on in the program, and I'm told William Bonac is moved into that position in the backstage area, where he will soon enter the stage, which is what he is doing, and we're going to get our first look tonight at William Bonac.
William Bonac, Dan, a year ago was 3rd place by way of the Netherlands. He can't be but 5'5", maybe 5'6" on a good day, but he's very thickly, heavily muscled, reminiscent of a former Bertil Fox.
One of the best bodybuilders in the world. He finished 5th here in 2016, then he climbed to the top 3 a year ago. There were some people felt that this guy has all the tools, and even last year made a case to actually win himself an Olympia title. He followed that up by winning this year's Arnold Classic. You are looking at one of the very best bodybuilders on the planet. And we arrived here in Las Vegas this weekend feeling like if anybody was going to knock off the champion, there was a list of 2 or 3 guys, and William Bonac's name was certainly on it.
He's obviously established himself as one of the guys not only to beat, but also to challenge. He's a slow progress to where he needs to be in there, and he is now one of those guys you can commonly talk about as a threat to the title. A little bit too heavy for me, for my liking, but he does look significantly improved from last night, as do probably most of the guys.
He's working with super trainer Neil Hill, who also works with Flex Lewis. Neil Hill has established himself as one of the preeminent trainers in this business, and what he's done with William Bonac over the last couple of years is extremely impressive, and William has a tremendous presence on that stage. Strong, thunderous, posing music, part for part. He kind of stacks up with just about anybody, but as you mentioned, not quite as crisp as he was last year.
And that's the only thing that may be knocking him down, Dan, in my opinion. His quads are massive. His calves, if you look at them independently, are massive. You cannot put any more muscle on this frame. Unfortunately, being as small as he is, he looks short when he poses. I remember Arnold Schwarzenegger said the same about Franco Columbu. You have to pose like a big guy. And unfortunately right now, Williams still kind of poses a little bit small. I would love to see him extend just a little bit more. But this guy has all the goods to challenge in any show. The muscle is there. That's a classic William Bonac shot. Crowd obviously likes what he's putting out there, which is what the night show is about. They're not just hitting the mandatory poses, they're hitting poses that accentuate what they like as bodybuilders, and they can interact and show their personality as he is doing now, pacing back and forth across the stage, showing his fans on both sides what he's brought to Las Vegas, and they're appreciating what he's showing. Much improved from 24 hours ago, William
Bonac. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Egypt, Mamdoa Big Ramy El-Zbaye.
Sean Ray, bodybuilding is a sport of all different shapes and sizes, and there is perhaps no shape or no size like the man we are looking at right now, Mamdoa El-Zbaye. They call him Big Ramy for extremely obvious reasons, and we're going to sit back and watch the posing routine of the man who was the runner-up at last year's Olympia.
Clearly tighter than 24 hours ago, Dan. You can see he dried up in the hamstring, glute department. You see a few more details that we didn't see 24 hours ago, which is what we were talking about last night.
And it's one of the things that makes the Olympia unique. Of course, the Friday night prejudging, 24 hours later, the Saturday night finals. It gives these guys a chance to tweak and tighten up and make improvements. Or in the case of the guys who peak on Friday night, they have to do everything they can to hold it together, and that's why these placings can change as the night goes. Big Ramy, of course, was the guy that a lot of people were looking at as the top contender to take out Phil Heath, and based on what we saw last night, it looked like that might not be going that way. As you mentioned, the physique does look better tonight.
The feathers in the quads given away, the splits in the pecs, the abs are tighter, the back is tight, everything is tighter, which magnifies the physique even more. Unfortunately, first impressions sometimes set the tone for what's going to ultimately happen. And if last night he doesn't resonate more tonight, the judges will stick with what they saw last night.
Well, and it's not even just first impressions. Those scores for last night have already been logged into the system. So the damage that was done last night doesn't just go away.
Yes, absolutely.
He's going to have to be that good tonight to overcome what went down 24 hours ago. This is a very impressive bodybuilder. Big Ramy is exceptional and clearly much better, and I think that's great for this contest because I'm looking forward to seeing Big Ramy and Phil Heath stand side by side.
Absolutely,
once
Dan.
again.
I'm looking at him like he was last year. This is the Ramy we saw when he got first runner-up a year ago. He's not far off the mark. And the improvements, with the graininess in there, the improvements are vast. I would like to have seen him change the music up to more up-tempo at this stage of his posing, because he's starting to get excited, and the fans are as well.
Sean, if this Big Ramy that we're looking at right now had walked out last night, this would be a very different contest right now.
We would be using different adjectives for sure. As we try to get into the minds of the judges, sometimes we try to think like they might, but as an independent thinker watching this, you see the Christmas tree come in. That wasn't there 24 hours ago. You see the glutes, the striations. Those were not there 24 hours ago, along with the feathers in the quad. We're looking at a different bodybuilder, which makes it more competitive tonight. Now I'm curious to see what he looks like standing next to the rest of the field. Can't sleep on this guy. He's still dangerous.
One of the biggest, one of the best, one of the most popular bodybuilders in all the world, Big Ramy.
Great guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the USA, your 7-time reigning and defending Olympia champion, the Gift, Phil Heath.
There was one.
All right, Dan Solomon along with Sean Ray, you are watching the #1 bodybuilder in the world perform here at the 2018 Olympia. Made his pro debut 12 years ago. 5 years after that, he became Mr. Olympia. He turns 39 this year. He's attempting, of course, to equal the all-time record set by both Lee Haney and Ronnie Coleman. Last year, he dealt with all sorts of issues, some injuries. He promised to come back this year better. He promised to come back here and make history. And Sean Ray, I'm going to let you get this posing routine started by giving us a take on what we're looking at right here from the 7-time champion.
You're seeing why they call the guy the Gift. His side chest is world class, and now he's turning to the back, which is what he will even admit wins him competitions from time to time. It definitely saved him last year standing next to Big Ramy. You see the glutes, you see the hamstrings, and now we get up to the back double bicep. And usually by comparison, this is where Phil rises to the occasion.
Well, Phil Heath and his trainer, Hani Rambod, are known for mastering the art of those 24 hours. They have a history of being able to tweak and tighten and improve over the course of those 24 hours. So the question is, has he done what he needed to do coming off of last night, where he did get some criticism?
Well, by himself, he clearly has dried up. It's when he stands next to the other guys is we're going to find out how much. But right now, you see the split in the biceps. You see the feather on the hamstring, the separation, the striations. Phil is dried up nicely. You cannot determine whether it's enough until he's standing next to the other lineup. Again, he doesn't have very many weaknesses.
This is very much a business trip for Phil Heath. He knows what's at stake. He knows there's plenty of people that would like to see him go down. When you get to the top, those are the realities. And he is here. He has done the work. I caught up with him the other night. He has laser focus. He and Hani Rambod have worked extremely hard to get to this place, and he is on the doorstep of history.
Well, when you talk about history, Ronnie Coleman and Lee Haney, you cannot not talk about someone like Phil Heath, who may join that company. But again, the midsection is what I'm drawn to. In between the poses, he's got to maintain a nice, tight midsection, because that's where Sean Roden will close the gap. He may shut the door on him when it turns to the rear double bicep, but when it comes around to that front abdominal and thigh, that's where Sean Roden is right there waiting for Phil. So this is going to be a battle of comparisons in terms of what they look like standing next to each other.
And for Phil, he's a different kind of champion. He's also a champion in the era of social media. It's been a whole different set of circumstances over the course of his run, and he's been very willing to put his opinions out there, very willing to respond to detractors. But here he is tonight in Las Vegas at the Orleans Arena doing everything he can, scratching, clawing, and fighting his way to the finish line because he's looking to do something that only two men in the history of the sport have ever accomplished.
Phil will always be in that conversation, tied with Arnold Schwarzenegger with 7. I'm not a big fan of the non-routine in the routine round. I would have much more appreciated Phil doing an orchestrated routine. But nonetheless, he hit all the Phil Heath signature poses, and he's dried up nicely. Now we come to the payoff, and they start with the comparison. I'm looking forward to what we're about to see.
All right, as you see backstage, the scenery starting to change just a bit as the bikini girls come out and get themselves ready to take the stage to compete for the title of 2018 Bikini Olympia champion. Of course, Angelica Teixeira, the defending champion, and she will try to retain her titles. But as you can see by this look backstage, she will be hotly contested. And Sean Ray, I think hotly is the operative word here. And we're going to go ahead and send it back to the stage.
All right, well, that was a nice sneak peek of things to come. But right now, we're going to be looking at the guys that did not make the top 10 of the 54th Joe Weider Mr. Olympia finals.
And I want everybody at home to look closely at the quality
from the USA,
on that stage right now. These are the guys, as Sean said, who did not make the top 10, and there are some damn good bodybuilders up there.
Yeah, and these guys have to win a show to get here or compete in enough shows to garner enough points to get here. And some of them for the very first time, and this is a victory for them just standing on that stage.
From the USA, Charles Griffin.
They're all competing with history, having Phil in that lineup, and Dexter, the Blade Jackson.
From the USA, Josh Wade. From the USA, Big Diesel Horrell. And from the USA, Sergio Oliva Jr. How about a big hand, folks, for our 9 non-top 10 finishers?
All right, our coverage from Las Vegas Olympia weekend continues. Stick around, don't go anywhere. Things are about to get interesting.
Vote and put in order who you want to be this year's Mr. Olympia. Making history every single time we're out here, folks. We hope you guys enjoy it this time. It's a great opportunity for the fans to get involved. Who do you think's going to win, folks?
All right, welcome back, everybody. Our coverage here from the Orleans Arena continues. And, Bob Ciccarello is polling the crowd to see what they think is going to play out here on the Olympia stage. Of course, the fans in attendance will have an opportunity to participate in the judging, and we're going to go ahead and send it back out.
One last chance for the judges to get a look at our competitors. Gentlemen, come on out. All right, let's bring out our top 10 on the diagonals. Remember, folks, this is being judged live right now, so be as loud as you want and try to help the judges out with their decision. All right, our gentleman in place. Let's send it down to the judges. Big Steve.
Thank you, Bob.
lot at stake. History is at stake. Forget about the $400,000.
Rami,
but there's history at
Cedric,
stake here.
Dexter, Brandon, and Nathan.
Everything is at stake. Someone's life can change forever.
Absolutely. It's almost like, you know, American Idol, for example.
That's right.
And you could say this is the best of what's left, but man, this is even interesting here, Dan, because we have a former Olympia in Dexter Jackson in here. We got Brandon Curry, who's come up a long way. And of course, Cedric McMillan is in this line. This is a very tough lineup. Look at Rami a year ago was not in this. And he finds himself in a very precarious situation being compared with these guys.
This is an incredible second call-out. There have been first call-outs at Arnold Classics that aren't as good as this second call-out.
Absolutely. And this is the fight for 5th and 6th, which has huge ramifications in terms of what a bodybuilder can ask in guest appearances. It's a domino effect for the balance of the year. So you want to fight for this 5th and 6th place spot, just as if we're 1st and 2nd.
It's a lot at stake. A lot of people ask, what's the best contest? Why the Olympia is the best contest? The Olympia is the best contest because of this second call-out. This is an extraordinary, high-level caliber of athletes in this call-out. Big Rami in a second call-out, the way he's looking tonight, you know, it makes you scratch your head a little bit. I'm actually surprised they didn't pull him back into that first group.
Every one of those guys, with the exception of Nathan Diasha, has an Arnold Classic title at home on their mantle, on their fireplace. He's got one from Brazil. Brandon's got two, one from Australia and Brazil. Big Rami's got one over in Spain. Dexter's got 9 from all over the world. And of course, Cedric McMillan a year ago is the Arnold Classic champion in Ohio. With the exception of Phil not being in this call-out, Dan, this is like could be any pro show anywhere in the world.
Well, I've seen Dexter Jackson at almost 49 years old going pose for pose with these giants, with these
Give yourself some room.
top group of bodybuilders. It's incredible, and it shouldn't get lost in any of this. And of course, Cedric McMillan is still putting on a show for these guys, and just a tremendous thing. And also seeing Steve Kuklo in this group. Steve Kuklo brought it, and he's also a crowd favorite. And just there's so much happening. And Nathan Diasha, I know Nathan wanted better. He came here looking to get into the top 5, and he's got a chance to compete for that spot, as you just mentioned, because to reiterate what you just mentioned, the 5th place finisher has punched his ticket. Is that correct, Sean?
I believe so.
To next year's Olympia.
Absolutely, you're in the top 5, and you're back here. But again, these guys aren't going to settle. Most of them compete throughout the year, with the exception of Big Rami. All these guys, I mean, Dexter's one of the most, he competes more than anybody. The majority of these guys will probably go on to the tour. This show's coming up after
Dominoes
this,
and size.
including the Czech Republic.
So what's the advice to Big Rami? Obviously, this is disappointing. He came here to win this contest. He's going to go back to the drawing board. What does he need to do coming out of this contest?
It's not a simple fix, Dan. I mean, you can say the same about Dexter. The same thing about Cedric. Cedric was 7th or 8th place a year ago. It is what it is. You're competing against guys that have a tendency to peak at the right time. Some of it's not about body parts. Some of it's just about peaking on the day, and a lot comes with getting ready for the Olympia in terms of managing finances, managing relationships, jobs, and other careers. These guys have nothing to be ashamed of. It's a long and winding road to this Olympia stage. But I believe we're going to get one more look, Dan, at those top 4, or at least the top 2.
Phil, Rolly, William, and Sean.
Here we go. I'd like to see William and Rolly next to each other in this call-out.
Well, it's the same call-out that we saw about 5 minutes ago. Rolly Winkler,
Rolly and William switch.
William Bonac, Phil Heath, and Sean Roden. He's going to make these guys work. Steve Weinberger, the head judge, takes great pride about making sure all the scenarios are covered and all the boxes are checked.
But the problem is the call-out's the same.
When I say pose,
To get a good look, we got to compare William and Rolly.
Front double bicep.
They have to stand next to each other to establish 3rd or 4th place.
All right, Sean Ray, let's do this. Phil Heath versus Sean Roden. Front
Sean
double bicep.
Roden wins this pose.
William Bonac and Willie Winkler, very formidable as well. We move into the front lat spread. Sean Roden or Phil Heath?
Sean Roden is winning this pose.
So right now, according to you, Sean Ray, Sean Roden is up 2 poses to none. As they go through the compulsory, Steve Weinberger turns them to the side. They'll go into a side chest, and I'm going to let you call this one as well.
Oh, man, that's Phil Heath's shot. His arms are too big for a shot.
That's Phil Heath all day long.
But it could be a tie. I could call that a tie. Phil's arms are just big.
So we're going into the lat spread. These two gentlemen in the middle have the back double bicep, I'm sorry. They're going to go into the back double. And by the way, William Bonac delivers a terrific back double off on the left side.
I can tell you that maybe William might be winning that back shot.
Yes, sir.
Back lat spread.
Phil does have a pretty back double bicep. I can't take that away from him.
And what we're doing here is we are splitting hairs. I mean, we talked about Phil Heath. He is an extraordinary specimen, a remarkable bodybuilder. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to determine who's going to walk off with a Sandow Trophy. So that's the way we have to do it. Sean Ray, to the lat spread, compare them.
I'm going to go with Phil on that because the upper back is more grainy and separated, where Sean's a little more smooth. And it's because he doesn't have that thickness to his upper back.
All right, so Sean Roden was warned about delaying between the poses.
That was on the abdominal shot.
On the abdominal shot.
He was just doing that for the thrill and excitement.
And of course, the midsection of Sean Roden is extraordinary this weekend.
Mind you, I like Sean Roden in this pose better, but if the tricep we're looking at, Phil is killing him on the tricep itself. But the pose goes to Sean Roden.
The key for Sean Roden is to control the midsection. When he controls it, he is spot on.
And the water is starting to come off of Phil, especially around the shoulders and the upper chest area. And this is obviously, for me, that's Sean Roden's pose. And I don't really like the way Phil is hitting that shot, but his arms are so big you can't get it behind his neck.
Are you seeing anything different about Phil Heath from a body language standpoint?
I absolutely do, because he's gasping for air right now, trying to breathe through his nose, but he's breathing through his stomach. So he's fighting for it, and that'll make you have to breathe for more air.
Sean Roden opts for the hands on the hips, most muscular. And of course, a very different look. They each play to their own strengths.
Notice the shine that's coming across the upper body of Phil. That's the water that's about to start coming out very shortly, whereas Sean is still dry as the bone. Phil's starting to gather a little bit of water down the middle of the pecs and the upper around his lower neck and around his shoulders. That's water that he's holding, whereas Sean does not have that. Notice he's keeping his thighs separated. Sean Roden is. Phil's got to be mindful to stay flexed throughout.
Of course, those big sweeping quads come in very handy for Phil Heath in that pose. It gives him an advantage. And now they're going to go into a side chest.
And as they continue to pose, Phil's starting to get shinier and shinier. It's not that someone's putting oil on it, that's water starting to come out. And sometimes you can get better, but he's got to rub that into his skin so that it doesn't look like it's just dripping out of it, especially on the back of the traps. You got to respect the fact that Steve Weinberger, the head judge, is making these guys work, but I'd like to see him switch it up so we can see William and Rolly stand next to each other.
Because that is the big battle. That battle for third place, a lot of money is on the line, and a spot in the top 3 means a lot here at this competition. Steve Weinberger asks for their favorite, most muscular, and potentially the final chance to make their claim. I don't know if they're going to continue this much longer.
The champion is the only one that's breaking a sweat up there, which tells me he's holding water.
Their styles are very different, Sean.
William Bonac is looking harder as he poses.
Thank you, gentlemen. Back in line.
This contest has not been decided as of right now, Dan. There's no way there's a clear-cut victory for Phil Heath at this point in time. But nothing like the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, having to make us wait to find out what this is going to do as far as the judges. All of them are very competitive. But what the heck, Rolly Winkler was amazing.
All right, we're going to switch gears right now. Anybody here for bikini? Yeah, me too. Me too. We've got 10 of the best in the world right here tonight, folks. So please welcome your first finalist from Argentina, Romina Basualdo.
All right, Dan Sullivan, I am now joined by former bikini sensation Amanda Latona. You've competed on this stage 4 times, and you're going to walk us through this thing and tell everyone at home exactly what we are looking at as we look at some of the most beautiful physiques in the world.
Absolutely. What's up, guys? Yeah, so this is a very, very exciting Bikini Olympia, as we talked about earlier. First one was in 2010 with 23 competitors, and now, or 24 competitors. And now we've switched into an amazing lineup of 34 women, but 10 of which will make the stage. Romania's a champion. She's absolutely beautiful. She's a nice, slow, graceful stage presence. And again, in bikini, stage presence does matter, much like everything else. You're looking for full package here. You're looking for beautiful skin tone, beautiful symmetry. Now she's moving her hair almost to the back, but she really doesn't have to, like other divisions, figure and fitness, where they're actually showing their back because they are judged on having a muscular back. In bikini, it's not like bodybuilding, Dan. They're not going to win a show if they have a great back or great calves. In bikini, it's overall package, it's poise, presentation, grace, looks, muscle, but not too much muscle. And I think she displays that great.
Well, there were 33 competitors in this year's Bikini Olympia. We are going to see the top 10 competitors as determined by yesterday's preliminary judging. The top 10 will make their way to the stage during this portion of the competition.
All right, now let's talk about Laura Lee. She's on stage right now, and she is entering the Olympia off of 3 back-to-back wins, the Tampa, Chicago, and the Toronto Pro, which are really amazing show. Now, I saw her pump up backstage, and I looked over by my shoulder, and I was like, well, look at her butt. No offense, Dan. I mean, I got to check those things out, too. You know what I mean? And she's a new pro, young, and she's actually looking to be top 2. Now, at the prejudging, which was yesterday, her and Angelica, the reigning champion, got pulled out. And so she's looking to be top 2, and in my opinion, an absolutely beautiful representation of what the bikini division is about. It's beauty, it's poise. It's like take a Victoria's Secret girl and put some muscle on her. That's what Laura Lee is. Great opportunity to be a new champion.
Really credit to the NPC and Jim Mannion for cultivating this bikini division. It started out as a bit of an experiment, a trial run, and it has blossomed into one of the biggest attractions really in the competitive physique industry. The bikini division is extremely popular at all levels, at all the local NPC shows. So as it's become more popular, we're seeing the quality of the physiques when they get to the Olympia stage kind of reach a whole new level.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I mean, it used to be where you would see the girls and you could pick a top 10 that was good. Now, the level of athletes and conditioning, it's absolutely amazing. And that's the thing. As this sport's grown now, 2018, again, starting in 2010, you'll see if you go back to pictures, just the difference as the athletes are more conditioned. Now, is it they have more muscle, or is it that they're leaner? Because we all know the leaner you get, the more muscular you look. So it's, again, having that wonderful proportion of muscle, but not too much muscle. She has a beautiful amount. She has amazing glutes. She's actually one to look out for in the future. I like her physique. Okay. Now again, with bikini, it started off literally with just a front pose, back pose, turn around, front again. And it's transitioned into a little more of a routine where they do the walk on their own. Again, with the growth of the sport, it's turned into only a top 10 being allowed to present. In my opinion, Dan, I'd like to see it with a 20 to 25 competitor cap out. I think that that would be better to have everyone on stage as opposed to so many competitors and only 10 to get to present. I mean, what's better? Getting to this stage and only getting to say, hey, or you know what, I didn't make it this year, but I'm going to shoot for next year.
Well, one of the challenges there is that the bikini division has become so popular, and all the promoters around the world, they love putting on bikini competitions because they are so popular. So we have that situation by the time we get here. There's a lot of athletes qualified. We're looking at a former champion, Ashley Kaltwasser, one of the all-time greats in this division.
Right, Ashley was the first girl to ever win a Miss Bikini Olympia. Not only is it, well, she won it as a rookie, but she also won it 3 times in a row. Now she took a year off, and she came back this year after 3 wins. She's entering in this Olympia of 3 wins. Now, when she won it in 2013, 14, and 15. In 2016, she dropped to 4th because, in my opinion, Dan, her conditioning was just off. Now, she knew the way the division has progressed, she's had to bring that conditioning, which she has. And I was really interested to see how she was going to fare up, though, on a bikini lineup. And it looks like she's out of the top 3.
Well, here is Janet Leog, one of the more popular bikini competitors. She has been referred to by many people, including myself, as one of the most beautiful women in the world.
I heard you say that earlier, yeah, Dan.
She is extremely popular.
I agree.
The magazines love her, and she was actually a Miss Hooters at one point.
You could say it. Hey.
Yeah. But she's an athlete, and she's actually married to a former Major League Baseball player. And
she's a mom. She's freaking awesome. I love Janet, and the reason why is when you think about the bikini division, think about someone that could be on the cover of a magazine. Think about someone that could be an amazing model, and that's what Janet is. She knows her angles, and what I like to say is, up there on bikini, every pose should be a photo. If you think about like a photographer's in the audience, that's a shot. That's a shot. So she knows her angles. She knows how to work her everything from her body, her face, the way she elevates her chin. Everything about her is a beautiful combination of sex appeal, but not being intimidating. You know what I mean? There's a difference between being sexy and a little raunchy, which we've seen on stage in former bikini Olympias. I'm not gonna lie, Dan. And she's an absolutely beautiful, stunning representation. Her physique this year has gone to a whole another level of conditioning. She deserves to be in a top spot.
Well, and these ladies are competing for a total of $77,000 in prize money, and of course, also an automatic qualification for next year's Olympia, but one after the next. Amanda, this is an exceptional class here at the 2018 Bikini Olympia.
And it's just going to get more exceptional because bikini opens the physique or the opportunity to have an attainable physique. I mean, I started in bikini because I really couldn't get the muscle on me to be figure, even though I love muscle. So you always have to go with your body type. Are you comfortable on stage with the figure poses? You go figure. Are you comfortable with bikini? You got that sass in your flair? You got to do bikini. You're looking for glutes. You're looking for beautiful skin tone and symmetry. You want a nice fullness to your muscle. You don't want separation or graininess. Nice waist, and that's why these ladies are posing. Suit matters, hair matters. She's stunning in my opinion, and actually maybe the only blonde in the top 10, which I find interesting. Okay, well, speaking of blondes, it's kind of half blonde with some highlight. This is Elisa Bassini. She was actually my dark horse pick for a top win, potentially, or top 3. Now, when I think about bikini, I think about the first trophy that I ever got, and it was kind of exactly her physique. She has beautiful shoulders, small waist, which genetically you either have or you don't. You can't train for a waist. Y'all know that, ladies. It's just something that she has. She has an amazing work ethic, and her body is just so proportionate for a bikini. She also has looks, presentation, confidence, beauty. I liked her in a top 3.
And there's a big investment here, Amanda. We talked about this last night. You told us that they'll spend several $1,000s on these bikinis.
Heck yeah.
And of course,
and worth every penny, Dan. And worth every penny. And as you see, even her shoes have rhinestones. Like, that's the stuff that I noticed, is because it's those little things that these women put every single detail into. What color is their suit? What color is their lipstick? How is their eyeshadow? Everything needs to be beautiful and matched, but nothing needs to distract. So if you see the jewelry, compliments, but you don't want something on that's going to distract and you say, oh my gosh, what is she wearing? It has to all blend. And speaking of blend, Jen is an absolutely beautiful competitor. Now, she was second last year. It doesn't look like she's going to be in the top 3 this year. I'm sure she's a little disappointed with that. But again, you're coming into, with each year, bringing a whole new breed of amazing athletes. Each one of these ladies are champions. Each one. Jen is actually coming off a win last week. And she's walking in last week on stage. She just won. She's bringing that package, beauty, poise, presentation.
Amanda, what's usually the variable that separates one competitor in this division from the next. When you look at it, obviously as a layman, myself, I look at these physiques.
Right.
They all look so evenly matched. They're extraordinary. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how they compare it. But give us your take on it. What's usually the factor that puts somebody over the top?
I think it's an it factor and a wow factor. And I think even I loved, you know, other champions like Natalia Melo. She just had a fire on her that was an it factor you couldn't deny. And that's just something that with the bikini division, because they are, again, all such beautiful ladies, they have to be a full package. And for me, I like to look at these girls as who can represent the sport. Angelica is actually great when she does interviews because she translates, she speaks. She's looking to be top 1 or 2. She's beautiful.
And Angelica Teixeira is the #1 competitor because why?
Because she's full presentation, or she's a full package top to bottom. So she's got enough muscle without being overly muscular. She's got symmetry, she's got proportion, skin tone, beauty, hair, makeup, poise, presentation, everything matters in bikini.
Based on what you saw in prejudging earlier, do you have her in the winner's circle?
It's a really close between her and Laura Lee. I'd be happy either way. It depends. Is a rookie gonna come on and take a champion's title? They say you gotta be better with the champ. It's really, really close, Dan.
Well, here she is, your reigning and defending champion, Angelica Teixeira, the final of the top 10. Once again, there were 33 competitors in this division. We're looking at 10. We will bring out the rest of the lineup shortly thereafter. But Angelica is making her case to remain on top of the bikini world.
And she's also the current bikini international champion, and she won that 2 times. So she's definitely a champion. I mean, are they going to mix it up because they want to see some different, you know, ladies up there? Either one's a champion. Either one can win. Let's see what happens.
Stick around, guys. We're coming back. Back here at the Orleans Arena, things are starting to get interesting. We've already seen the posing routines of the Mr. Olympia. We've seen the comparisons and the compulsories in that round. We have moved in to the bikini division where we just got to look at our top 10, and we will now bring out the rest of this year's bikini lineup.
Right, and when you look at these ladies, can you pick out champions? Yes, yes. Again, when bikini started, it was a one-day event, prejudging during the day, finals at night. Now for it to be a 2-day event, it's hard for these girls if they hadn't made a top 10. They were on prejudging yesterday. They had to wait all day till tonight to know that they were just going to be on here for a wave of the stage. Nonetheless, beautiful women.
From the USA,
Get it, girl. OG Bikini, one of my favorites, Tana.
From Mexico, Eli Fernandez.
I like that they're taking the time to do a little step out, a little walk.
From Korea, Tim Hayo. From the USA, Karen Heine.
This part is so important. As we mentioned the other night, each and every one of these ladies has family and friends who made the trip to Vegas to watch them compete, so it's great that they get the opportunity to wave to the crowd and also be present for the photographers as well, so they get as much value out of this hard work as possible. And most of these competitors will have photo shoots scheduled tomorrow to sort of memorialize and chronicle their physiques and make sure that they land in publications around the world.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the goal. It's to be on stage. It's to build a fan base. It's who you're going to inspire. What's your, you know, you can have someone that you just resonate with and they say, oh, that's the physique I like. That's the physique I like. And, you know, with that's the goal here. You know, you always think big picture.
Please welcome from the USA, Rita Martinez.
And as we see, this is still the remaining of the ladies that weren't in top 10. That just shows you how vast this competition is. Now, Dan, this is why they had to do a top 10 routine only. Imagine each one of these girls out there with a walk back, walk back. Not only is that long for everyone watching, it's actually long for the other competitors too. When you're up there on stage, you've got to stand there in their heels, you're tired, drop the water. It's a lot.
From Italy, Mariella Pellegrino. From the USA, Camille Perrier.
These ladies have won shows. These ladies, you know, there's a qualification where first place gets you into the Olympia, and then there's also where you qualify by points. So that's something that they added to try to bring less competitors onto the stage. And in my opinion, they're actually now more competitors. Again, Dan, I like to see it to where there's either less shows or something to where the actual total number is in the 20 to 25 area, and all of these women then will have a chance to do a full routine and be on that stage, which is what we're all here for.
Our confirmation round of scoring. One last chance for the judges to get a look at our competitors. So I can have our top 10 lineup on stage, please.
Well, tens of thousands of bikini competitors compete at local events, in shows around the country and around the world. And in the end, it comes down to 10 as they make their way back to the stage, and head judge Sandy Williamson will call them out, put them through some comparisons, and we'll find out who is going to be crowned this year's champion.
ID number 17, Ashley. ID number 18, Janet. ID number 26, Lisa Passini. I need 29, Jennifer Ronziti. And I need 33, Angelica Tucero.
I mean, and if you see, this top six is, in my opinion, the best of a Bikini Olympia. Each one of these girls could be champion. I think you could switch it around. What are the judges looking for?
I need 18 and 33 to switch Janet and Angelica to switch.
Well, they move the defending champ in the center, the most important call out of the year.
And then I need 18 and 17
Laura
to
Lee,
switch. Janet. Yep.
Ashley.
And Ashley.
Janet, Elisa, Jennifer, and
Okay, ladies, you're
Angelica.
gonna do 180, face that back wall.
And again, this is what the bikini division is about.
Now you're gonna walk to that halfway back and hold it when you get there.
Walking it back, so the walk matters. You want to be nice. As you see, these ladies are walking to keep their glutes nice and tight. So again, is bikini one
and
from the
face
back?
forward and walk it back.
Well, there you go. There's your booties, y'all.
Okay, ladies, thank you very much. You can take a step back to either side. I need 2, Romina. 7, Jennifer. Marcia. Rafaela. Rafaela and Jennifer just switch right next to each
Amanda,
other.
the way these comparisons and these call-outs work in the bikini, it's very different
ladies,
than
do
a
180
bodybuilding
face out
competition.
walk.
Not as much comparison, not as much moving
Exactly.
around. And so it's harder to almost read how
walk
the
halfway
contest
back
is
and hold it
going
when you get
in the
there.
bikini division, because
Exactly.
the judges don't tip their hands as much as they do on the bodybuilding side.
Right, and you know, and actually I'm glad that the people are able to watch this live, because
Face forward
a
and
lot
walk
of
it
times what
back.
happens is you go and you look back at a show and you look at pictures and you say, oh, well, she should have won, or she should have won, or you know, and you have to see the actual, not only this, but
Please,
I
thank
would
you very
love
much.
to
You can take a step
be able
back
to
either
see
side.
the
That
prejudging,
concludes the
because
confirmation
once
round.
it's
Back to
done,
you, Bob.
there's a different, the nerves are almost
All
gone
right,
once you're at the
thank you very
stage.
much,
Prejudging is where it matters, and you need to see an actual presentation. If you line 5 girls up and you look at a photo, you're going to say each one of those girls is amazing. And it's going to actually see in person, what did they bring that day? What was their confidence? What was their, how did they look as an ambassador of the sport? And that's what makes the difference of just seeing a lineup or an actual prejudging presentation, which was done yesterday.
Ladies, for the title, hold on.
I was gonna say, see, I've done that at show. We have our own show, I MC it, and I do a pose down.
So
He's
they-
joking, but it's awesome. I would have rocked that. I would have been already in a split and a moonwalk midway through. I don't know. I mean, you're on Olympia stage. You do, you got to do. You know, Dan.
This
you take
is
that time.
one of the most impressive collections of physical beauty you will see anywhere in the world. This final pose down here at the Olympia. And of course, to use the term pose down, it kind of takes on a
I know,
meaning.
everyone just kind of, huh?
All of a sudden, these are ladies that are trying to present themselves in the classiest possible way.
And again, and this pose down really doesn't matter. I mean, the judging right now is that they're exactly. But that was really fun. That's a time to kind of show your personality. I would have done a couple of hair flips, and it just got a little caught off guard. But again, it's fun for the fans. I mean, it's a one time a year, and I thought it was fun for Bob Dakota.
Our top 5 for awards. Presenting the 5th place award. Representing Midway Labs is Vice President Catherine Colley. She will take the 5th place award, the check, for $5,000 and present it to Ashley Kaltwasser.
I was just going to say, I'm wondering if it's going to be Ashley Kaltwasser. Now, nothing's wrong with her physique, guys. I mean, she looks absolutely amazing. Did the time off hurt her? I'm not sure. Is it her? She brought the condition that she needed to sit with this lineup. She has an amazing body, amazing glutes. Is her presentation as poised as the other girls? That's something that maybe the judges were looking at.
Presenting the 4th place award is Ms. Nikola Lektorova, high-tech athlete and IFBB Bikini Pro. She's taking the 4th place award, the check for $7,000, and presented to
Feeling red.
Elisa Pacini.
You see this? I call this, Dan. That's why I wear the suit.
That's why you're the expert. So Alicia takes the 4th place medal and the check, just ahead of the 5th place finisher, Ashley Kaltwasser, as we move our way in to the top 3.
She's an amazing girl, gorgeous. Again, she's a rookie, so she's excited to be here. I think she has a ton of potential. She's very young, 21 years old. So she's definitely going to be one to watch in the bikini division. She already is.
Once again, Catherine Colley. Please take the 3rd place award, the Olympia bronze medal. The check for $12,000 to our 3rd place finisher, Janet Layu.
And if you were watching pre-judging yesterday, we could kind of expect that Janet would be in that 3rd spot. Again, anything could happen tonight. But there were a top 2 that was pulled out yesterday with Janet added to the mix, so that would mean she was top 3. She really, really brought a physique this year that is actually, she's always had an amazing physique, but this year was just something different. When she walked on stage the first time, I said, oh my gosh, that's just Janet at her best. And to me, she's just a phenomenal representation of what the bikini division is, as are all of these top 10 ladies, especially top 5.
Of Muscle and Fitness Magazine.
I'm nervous, Dan.
We take the 2nd place award, the Olympia Silver Medal, the check for $18,000, and presented to our runner-up this evening, Laura Lee Chappano.
Okay. So Laura Lee takes 2nd place, and a very impressive 2nd place. So she's a beautiful girl, tons of potential. Again, coming off of 3 wins, newer pro, and also 21 years old.
As we anticipate the announcement of the winner of the 2018 Bikini Olympia, it appears that we will have a successful defense of her title, with the formalities coming from Bob Ciccarello. Angelica Teixeira awaits her moment.
And absolutely, I mean, they say, how do you have to beat the champion? Did Angelica do anything to be off? No, you know what I mean? She's an absolutely beautiful girl. I love her overall look. It's kind of hitting her.
Please take the first place award, the Olympia gold medal, the check for $35,000, and the title of 2018 Bikini Olympia champion to your winner, Angelica Teixeira.
Well, there it is. Angelica Teixeira has defended her title. She is the 2018 Miss Bikini Olympia, and for the second straight year, she will represent her division, her sport, as its #1 property, and really a great lady as you get to know her, and she's done a lot of good for this division, and she'll get to continue for at least the next 12 months to stand tall as its greatest competitor.
Absolutely. So now she's two-time Bikini Olympia, two-time Bikini International, so well-deserved, absolutely.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take a break. Our action from Vegas continues after the break.
Oh, yeah.